Ever thought of hosting your own show? Better yet, a podcast? Anchor is the easiest way to make a podcast. Anchor gives you everything you need in one place for free. You can use it right from your phone, laptop, and computer. Anchor has all the tools you need to record and edit your podcast. They will even help you distribute your podcast, such as Spotify, Apple, Google, and much, much more. You can make easy money. Download the Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started.
We're back with the takeaway. Now, this is something near and dear to my heart because along with wrestling that I love so much is boxing. I have my own boxing podcast, Throwing Jabs, if you want to check that out as well. Now, while I was watching this weekend's boxing match between Tyson Fury and Tom Schwartz, they played a little bit. It showed a little clip of before the match. It showed Tyson Fury being playful with Tom Schwartz. They got in the ring. He got a steel chair. They were play wrestling as everyone who's a wrestling fan does as a kid in their backyard with their brother or their cousin. But the one thing that stuck out to me and why I had to text Ovi, this needs to be the takeaway for this week, is the constant ribs and attacking of the wrestling industry that the boxing commentators gave when they showed that clip. The boxing commentators kept going, well, wrestling's not real. That's not real. And boxing is. But that sets up perfectly for what Ovi came up with for the takeaway this week. So here you go, Ovi.
Pro wrestling is a performing art and entertainment, in which began in the late 1800s. The purely performative, choreographic wrestling has expanded around the globe. Australia, North America, Latin America, Europe, and Japan. As it continues to dominate in the entertainment business, one could argue that the whole idea is virtuously bogus. So the real question is this: is pro wrestling real or fake? The World Wrestling Entertainment is the top industry in which Jess McMahon and Toots Monts, founded back in 1950s, and now his son Vince McMahon, preceded the business to a global market. There are no legitimate contests, but strictly scripted, story-driven drama that is meant to entertain the viewers. Mueller, a journalist from the Bleachers Report, stated in the article in 2010 that people watch WWE because it has action, drama, humor, infidelity, love stories, betrayal, overcoming adversity, facing tough obstacles, physical and mentally pain, joy, happiness, and family issues. There is no different than watching TV sitcoms or going to the theaters or cinemas to watch your favorite movie. So yes, the professional wrestlers are performers, and they do act just like any actors. They are driven force to a gentleman's soap opera. However, these performers put their bodies on the line just like any other athlete in the sport. The following professional wrestlers have suffered through injuries: Luke Harper, knee injury that requires surgery; Seth Rollins, 2 torn ACLs; Nikki Bella, neck surgery. She was out for 5 months until then later did a comeback and retired. Tyson Kidd, neck injury, has never returned back to the ring. John Cena suffered a shoulder injury. Randy Orton, a shoulder injury as well. Bray Wyatt, a calf injury. Daniel Bryan, forced to retire from a neck injury and concussion, only to be reinstated years later. Enzo Amore, concussion. Fatalities has happened also in the wrestling business. Owen Hart died in the ring. And recently, the Silver King, known for the movie Nacho Libre, his real name is Cesar Barron. He died during the match at age 51, which he suffered with a heart attack. The professional wrestlers put their bodies in harm's way, from jumping off the top of the ropes, body slamming on the mat, hitting chairs, crashing the tables, or flying high above the ladders. There is a reason why WWE posts a disclaimer before every show. Do not try this at home. These wrestlers perform countless hours, travel different places, sacrifice their time away from their own personal time to entertain the fans and the viewers. The unique perk of professional wrestling is that it not only attracts viewers at home, but celebrities as well. Other athletes from combat sports participate as well. Here's a list. Mike Tyson and the Generation X. Butterbean versus Bart Gunn in WrestleMania 15. Buster Douglas referee at the WWF Main Event 3, which featured Randy Macho Man Savage versus Hulk Hogan. Mr. T versus Rowdy Piper in WrestleMania 2, which that match was a boxing match. Joe Frazier was a referee for Ric Flair versus Dusty Rhodes. Chuck Wepner, a professional boxer that lost to Muhammad Ali, wrestled against Andre the Giant in the 70s at Shea Stadium in New York. Muhammad Ali versus Antonio Inoki, a professional wrestler and a mixed martial art artist in Japan. The movie Rocky 3, that's right, where even though it was a fictional story, but it was Rocky Balboa versus Hulk Hogan. Matt Hardy versus Evander Holyfield, with MVP falling down to Holyfield's punch. As you recall, MVP was the referee of that match. Ronda Rousey, who left UFC, retired from UFC, and did 1 year of WWE. She played a big role for the women's division. And let's not forget our current roster with Brock Lesnar, who played professional football, a former mixed martial arts, and he is the Money in the Bank winner, waiting for his time to become champion again. On the contrary, we see and hear other athletes that they want to say what they want to say, just downplay pro wrestling sports. Conor McGregor dissing pro wrestling. Damian Cormier dissing current wrestling and comparing it to how it was in the past. And goes off on tour war with Cody Rhodes. UFC commentator Joe Rogan, who is a high suspect, has harsh words about pro wrestling and how fake it is. Now, with all that I told you, is wrestling real or fake? Why would you want to sell out an art when you have not participated in the sports entertainment? At least, the people that view wrestling will come to understand that the reality of the business, the show, and the wrestler's life through social media at best. There is no controversy compared to boxing and UFC. One can argue about the uses of talent in WWE roster, but at least the show continues each day. And boxing careers are ruined when the judge gives the fight to an undeserving fighter. HBO canceled traditional boxing programs. I wonder why. Where is boxing going these days? Both boxing and UFC use pro wrestling tactics to gain attention for the audience to go see their fights at the arena or a pay-per-view. Just like Jason was talking about Fury versus Schwartz. Although one is a real thing and the other is theatrical approximation of a fight, the ways in which stars are created and big fights are sold are effectively the same in both disciplines. How many do you see that act like Ric Flair? Almost in every sport, not in just combat sports, but other athletes as well, whether it's baseball, football, basketball. And every champion wants to hold what? A championship belt. And who else gives the championship belt than the man Triple H, who acknowledges every major sports and their champions. But hey, wrestling is fake, right? Yeah. So I'm going to leave this one thing. I will end this segment with a former Strikeforce light heavyweight champion, Muhammad King Mo Lawal, in which he described how professional wrestling is actually tougher than MMA. And if I have mispronounced any of my words or names, I apologize. But I leave this. Lawal stated, pro wrestling is harder than MMA. Here's the reason why. In MMA, I can avoid damage. I can circle. I can pull guard. I can take you down. I can push you to the cage. Hell, I can tap. I can verbally give up. In pro wrestling, I have seen guys tear their ACL and continue to wrestle solely to please the crowd. You know, regardless of what had happens, the show must go on. You go out there, people are out there at one point, they are wrestling like 3 times a week, 4 times a week. You know Hulk Hogan's leg drop shrunk his spine. But guess what? He was still doing it. You know your body is banged up. You're taking bumps. You're flying over ropes, through the ropes, hitting the turnbuckle, getting body slammed, taking a bump. You know that stuff breaks your body down, and you could ask any wrestler. You could get a wrestler that's 47 years old, and you get an MMA fighter that's 47 years old. The wrestler's going to look like he's 60 compared to an MMA fighter. You get Randy Couture and compare him to someone like The Undertaker. I know The Undertaker is a little older, but I guarantee you The Undertaker at 47, 48 years old was far more beat up than Randy Couture was. So, I ask you, is wrestling real or fake? You decide.